Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the More Survivalists, and today talking about a topic that may not seem all that related to survival and preparedness when in reality it is. It is by far a lot more important than 95% of the stuff you see in channels like these, because this is directly linked to how you're going to be living your life, how you're going to be protecting your kids most of all, how you're going to be ready to deal with the strategies from the left in terms of gaslighting you, in terms of lying to you, manipulating you and your children. So I woke up this morning and checked on Instagram, saw one of the a post there by Joe Rogan commenting on, well, not even commenting, just putting this actual title here. This is from Healthline: Can Men Get Pregnant? And here we have Dr. Valinda Riggins Nwaddik, or whatever that is, saying that she's a doctor, so she knows, she's a medical expert, so she knows what she's talking about, right, guys? And there she goes. Is it possible? Well, of course, yes. It is possible for men to become pregnant and give birth to children of their own. In fact, it's probably a lot more common that you might think. You're stupid. You didn't know that men can get pregnant. So you understand how foolish you've been all these years thinking, no, men cannot get pregnant. Yes, they can. It's just your ignorance showing. I go on. In order to explain, we'll need to break down some common misconceptions about how we understand the term man. So I'm sure this woman is a very intelligent individual. I'm not saying here that she's a dumb, ignorant person or evil, lying, disgusting human being. I'm not saying any of that. I'm simply pointing out how they are trying, or in this case, this woman is trying to make you doubt basic essential things we've known for literally thousands of years. I mean, they're trying to make you doubt basic essential things we've been knowing since men first walked this planet. I mean, this is as basic as it gets. Men are men, women are women. You have 5 fingers in your hand, and if you cut one off in an accident or you were born with some horrible mutation, it is just an exception, and that is not the norm. That's definitely not normal. And no, you're born with 5 fingers in each of your hands. If everything went well, you haven't suffered anything, that is simply the way it is. The idea that a man can get pregnant is, of course, ridiculous. You don't have the sexual organs for that to happen. You have a penis and testicles, and a woman will have the necessary equipment so as to give birth to children. You don't have to be a doctor to know this. You don't have to be particularly smart either. You just have to be a person with a minimal amount of common sense. That's all it takes. So when someone that I suppose studied medicine or biology to even the basic, most elemental extent tries to tell you otherwise, they're gaslighting you. That's where this comes into place. They're trying to make you doubt essential things we've known and facts we've known for thousands and thousands of years. That's what these people are trying to do. So they go on. In order to explain this, we need to break down some common misconceptions about how we understand the term men. You're stupid if you thought that men cannot bear children. That's what we need to readjust. The words, things don't mean anything anymore. A man can be a woman can be a man, and I can just sit here and say I'm a centipede. I'm an insect with 100 legs, and that is something you just need to accept. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you, not me. I'm not the crazy one. If I say I'm a damn unicorn, you're the one that's being an intolerant monster for not accepting my reality. That's another thing. My reality. Reality is not something objective anymore. It's a matter of opinion. So when reality does not exist anymore, anything goes. Absolutely anything can go. And it's usually the thing that the mainstream media, the people in control, the elite want you not only to believe, but just shut up and accept as a fact, even if you know it's completely false. So we go on. Not all people who were assigned male at birth, AMAB, identify as men. So you are not just born a man and a woman, which was as simple and essential as it gets. I've got 3 kids, and it's very easy to tell if they're boys or girls. And you're not assigning anything. You're just simply using your eyes and seeing what actually is. That's all there's going on here. No, this idea of doctors assigning you as if playing God. They just close their eyes and go, you shall be a boy, or you shall identify as a girl in spite of whatever it's going on in your heart. This is me playing God as a doctor. That's the lie they want you to believe. Assigned male at birth. Someone assigned you that. I'm assigning you to Gryffindor, like in Harry Potter, right? That's the bullshit they want you to believe or accept as a fact, when it is not. You simply are born as a man or as a woman, a boy or a girl, male or female. It's as simple as it gets. You have 5 fingers in each hand, and you have one head. Human beings are born with one head. That's the norm. Is there a little girl somewhere that has 2 heads? Well, of course there is. There's one here that has 2 heads and an arm between those. Is that something that we have to identify as a spectrum? You can have anywhere from 1 to infinity heads because there's been some mutations in some extremely exceptional cases. No. This only applies to your genitals. And this used to be a joke. This used to be laughable. This is from 1992, where a guy from Philippines had his 15 days of fame by claiming he was the first pregnant man. The pregnant Philippine guy. He was there with his boyfriend, big belly, saying he was pregnant. And there were actual doctors saying that he was hermaphrodite, that he had both male and female sexual organs, and that's how he got pregnant. There was even a scan where they show the baby. He went on TV saying that he felt the baby kick on the inside. It was a big joke, and people just laughed at as the ridiculous nonsense that it always was. But for a time, even in some serious news outlets, they were just considering it. A doctor said that she had in fact checked, and he was a person with this sexual condition, and that he was in fact pregnant. Turns out that a judge in Philippines finally said, okay, we have to check this out. Turns out that he had a penis, that he was not pregnant at all. It was just a guy just playing this stupid game and just getting his 15 minutes of fame. That was all there is. But now we live in a world where this is expected to be normal. We're being told that this is actually true, that men can get pregnant, and you have to accept it, even though that's not true. This is gaslighting in its purest form. Gaslighting is a very interesting concept. You should actually check it out. It comes from a Hollywood play or movie where it was actually titled Gaslight, in which a woman is made to believe that she's having a misconception about how much gas light there is, and that the lights are not getting dimmer as time goes by, and she's not being robbed from it. And they basically try to play her as, you're crazy, what you're seeing is not actually real, it's not really happening. The idea here is to make you doubt so much about what you see. People like this woman, they want to make you doubt about even the most basic essential things, so as to have no free will left whatsoever. If you can be made to accept that a man is not a man, and that a woman is not a woman, and that a guy can be a sofa or a TV or a helicopter, it just doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. There's no truth anymore. There's no facts anymore. Anything, absolutely anything goes. And the only thing you should do is shut up, be a good zombie, and go on with whatever the agenda is at that time. That's all they want from you. You cannot question this. I mean, this is the kind of thing that gets you fired. I mean, it's not just that you get censored in Twitter or even whatever, YouTube or any of this. It's just the kind of thing that gets you fired from your job if you do this. I mean, the woman that wrote Harry Potter, she was basically destroyed in the eye of public opinion, and by some of the people she made herself out of nothing. The actors from the movie came after her because she said that we used to call people that menstruate women, and what's going on with that. She made like a slight little joke about people that menstruate. You mean what we used to call women? And that was considered some of the most hateful, vile thing a human being could ever say. And she was re-educated so as to so as to make sure she understood her mistakes here. And this is not just, this is bad enough because this is supposedly this is not some yellow pages like it was in 1992 with a pregnant Philippine guy. This is in a medical outlet, healthline.com, and this is an actual doctor repeating this, and she has no doubt all the support of the pharma community backing her. She's absolutely backed in her opinion that a man can get pregnant. And you see this as well. Can a man get pregnant? Of course he can. And you see this nonsense. Man gives birth to child. Well, no, not a man at all. It's just a woman that dresses like a man, and she has her hair set up like a man, and she's probably taking some heavy amounts of drugs as well. And in spite of all that, nature still finds a way for this woman to have a child, but she is in fact a biological woman. No one is questioning your life choices in terms of what you choose to dress like, or even as a full-grown adult, what kind of medications you choose to take, which ironically enough, you're being forced to think otherwise, as if you don't have a choice on that anymore either. But this is a woman that gives birth to a baby, which is the most normal thing in the world, right? We live in crazy land right now. We are made to think that none of this makes any sense anymore. Your idea, your definition of a man is wrong. Your definition of a woman is wrong. Your definition about absolutely everything is wrong. You just cannot have a thought of your own. You're just incapable of it. You're not a serious professional like Dr. Valinda Riggins Nwadiki here, who is an expert on this field about men and women and how men are actually women and they give birth and all that nonsense. You're not a trained professional so as to make these calls about, are you crazy? You're going to be deciding on yourself if a man is a man or a woman is a woman? No, you need to get the opinion of these experts right here to correct you in your misguided ways. You're being gaslighted. You're being told that nothing is what it is anymore and that you should shut up and accept what your betters are instructing you to do. That's all that's going on. And it's, coincidentally enough, it's usually oriented towards destroying the family. The support that you have as a basic human being, your basic, the essential building block of society, that cell that keeps societies free and thriving, it's being directly attacked. Women are not women anymore. You're not allowed to even say that, because if a guy just says that, then he's a woman. I mean, I can just sit here and say I'm a woman. I just feel like a woman like right now. And you go, hey, Fernando, you're a little bit bearded and a little bit heavy set and big boned so as to be a woman. No, you're a hateful, racist bastard or whatever nonsense it is. In fact, you don't even have a choice. I mean, if I say I'm a woman and you say you identify as a man, you're supposed to find me attractive because I'm a woman right now. I'm a flying unicorn. I'm whatever nonsense I choose to say. And you actually have to not just respect that, but pretend that it's true as well. You have to go into my world of lunacy and accept my delusions as a fact, because you don't have the right to think for yourself and say, you know what, you're a damn idiot. You're not. You're not what you're saying you want. And this has nothing to do with freedom in terms of, it used to be that for example a transvestite, someone that chose to dress, and transvestite is, vestite goes, it's probably Latin for clothing, vestite like vestimenta, like clothes. So you're using clothes from someone else. So if you're a grown man and you choose to have your hair and dress like a woman, by all means go and do that. Now the idea that you are now magically turned into something you're really not, that is ridiculous, and it's simply not true. It's been going on for a while. It's a little process by which you're first you're first being played by this guilt game of, come on, what's wrong with accepting? I mean, let that guy be. If he wants to do this and that, just tell him he is, and he's not hurting you, and so on and so on. Now we are being forced to agree with the lunacy. Now we're being forced to agree with absolutely anything that they tell you have to fall in line with. It is scary, guys. This is, I mean, if you have kids, you really have to be careful. You don't know what's going on. I mean, it's very few places where your your government is going to be protecting you from something like this. The Hungarian president passed a law, protecting children from some of these, worst perversions about, kids being hunted in school grounds by some of these people that have very sick, intense intentions in mind. And he was being portrayed as an anti-gay, nonsense, pure nonsense. The guy has nothing in that regard. The law is specifically intended so as to protect children in schools from this kind of agenda, right? This kind of nonsense at kids that are at an extremely vulnerable age. But it's in very few places. You're definitely not going to be protected like this in the United States or most other countries in the Western world. It's just some of these Eastern European countries, man, they got it together and they know what's going on, and they see the bullshit. They're calling it out. But for the rest, you're going to be very busy keeping your kids safe from this crap, this nonsense that's going to be shoved into their brains whenever you look away for just a second in your schools, in your community, online. This is what your kids are being taught. This is not just what your kids are being taught. This is what adults are being forced to believe. And adults are not as weak as children, but nearly so. I mean, most adults are easily manipulated by this. You just tell them one time, 2 times, 1,000 times, and they'll start repeating, yeah, of course, it's a pregnant, he identifies and he was assigned at birth. This is what people end up doing. People are not strong. They don't have the will to stand against this. They're just not strong enough. Most people are simply not. Most people are damn weak and stupid even. So you are in an extremely vulnerable position. And if that's not your case, fantastic. But you are surrounded by people that are. Most people around you are easily gaslit like this. They're going to be manipulated into thinking and saying things that just months ago they thought were ridiculous themselves. But that's the world in which we live in right now, and you better get prepared for this because this is only getting worse. Guys, this is about realistic survival and preparedness. This is something that is extremely concerning, and you should identify these people and this narrative, this nonsense, which is gonna be now presented as medical facts, right? But this is just getting worse. This is only getting started. See you in our next video, folks. Have an awesome day. Take care.